What's up guys, this is Aiden Rides and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video we're going to be going over what these panfish do during these winter months, where they go and why they go to these certain areas and what times of the year that they go to these certain areas. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. So yeah guys, there's just a few simple steps here to be able to find these panfish on your guys' local lakes. Basically, we're just going to start right off with early ice, where, you've got some warmer temperatures still. It's still not really cold. You haven't had a ton of snow yet. It's just that early ice time period. These panfish, bluegill, crappie, perch, all these fish are going to be out very shallow, and this is when first ice and early ice can be such an amazing time to fish for these panfish, because they're feeding very heavily up shallow. They're all condensed into one little zone, and it's very simple to find them. And that's why people do so good during the early ice time period, because it's very simple to find these fish. And you just got to go up shallow, find some weeds. The weeds are still really healthy from the summer months, and the water's still warm enough to hold these weeds there, and they're still healthy. And if the weeds are healthy, the fish are healthy. There's bait fish there for the panfish and the crappie to feed on. When you're searching for these crappie and bluegill up shallow, you're going to find the bigger predator fish very close behind, because I mean, it's really cool once you start getting into it, because it starts with the weeds and the bait fish. If those are healthy, panfish are right there behind them, and then the predator fish are right there behind the panfish. And basically, the predator fish move off of what these panfish are doing, and they all kind of move around together. It's a very cool situation that you can look into, and they all kind of just depend on each other for survival. So, and basically what starts to happen after that first month, once you start getting into that really cold weather, you start making a lot of ice. You start getting out of that early ice period, and basically what happens is the thicker the ice gets and the more snow you get, it doesn't allow as much light to penetrate through the ice, and the light is what the weeds depend on to stay alive. Those weeds will die off, and those fish will recognize that, and they will move out of there almost as quick as they can. You could go 1 week, fish will be up shallow. You go the next week, they could be gone. Some people, they get frustrated. They can't find them where they were originally, and they might not catch them like they were a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever. And people get frustrated and they don't know where they went. So that's why a lot of times people will immediately move out to those very deep portions of the lake, and they just think automatically, if there's not fish shallow, they've got to be deep. And that is the fish's final destination, is to move out to that deeper water. But there is a short time period before they get to that deeper water that is very important, because you can catch a lot of fish in this time period. Basically, early ice, you find loads of fish along the weed line, and when they move out, you're not going to find the huge schools that you were up shallow earlier in the year. And this is when it can be a little bit difficult to find them, because you can't just find a school of 100, 200 fish that you might on a weed line. These areas between this deeper water and the shallow water, these are called staging areas. So these staging areas are areas like secondary points, ledges. It's just going to be those transition areas where they're going from that shallow water to the deeper water. They're going to hold up on points to feed. And when I mean points, it's not your points that come right out off the bank. Oftentimes there will be some secondary points, is what they're called, where they're almost like underwater points, and these fish will follow these points out, or they'll hold along these ledges to feed. And it's just deep enough where there's still some good oxygen down there, and it's still able to produce food and shelter for them before they completely move out to that deeper water. You really have to look around and pay attention to how these fish are acting and where these big groups of fish are, whether you're catching majority of them in this middle range of water or this deeper water. This is when you're going to kind of have to determine where these fish are heading and how fast they're moving out to that deeper water. And bluegill will follow very closely behind, but what you'll start to realize, you'll catch a lot of bluegill just a little bit shallower. Most times those bluegill won't follow out all the way into the basin like the crappie do. The crappie just move out a little bit deeper than the bluegill. So if you're wanting to go after bluegill more, than crappie. I would say just a little bit shallower, kind of around where those staging areas were that I was talking about. They'll kind of stay around those edges and those little drop-off areas, still in some deeper water, but they won't move out and roam around in the main lake basin as much. You will still catch bluegill out there, but majority of your crappie are going to be deep, and majority of your bluegill are just going to stay a little bit shallower, even if it's just 10 foot shallower. These panfish will basically stay out in these areas for the majority of the winter. You'll find your crappie out in the basin, and your bluegill along deeper weed lines. If the weeds are still alive along some deeper water, you'll find some good bluegill around there. Like I said, around those staging areas, you'll find some good bluegill just a little bit shallower. There's 3 big things to watch for when you're going after these panfish in the winter. Is those early ice months, be up shallow, watch for those fish where they're moving eventually as the ice starts getting thicker. Weeds will die, they'll start moving off a little bit deeper into some transition areas, and they'll hold there for just a little bit longer as long as the oxygen is still good and safe for them. And then the final stage will be when they drop off into that deeper water where the basins are, and some deeper water structures. So I hope this helped you guys out. That's all you kind of need to know for the basics on where these fish are moving and why they are in these areas and what they're doing, what they're looking for as far as it goes for oxygen and bait fish and things like that. They all kind of just follow each other around, and if you can find where they're going, it's super fun because you can keep right on top of them and continue to catch fish throughout the entire winter. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't miss anything. Feel free to answer or ask some questions. I will definitely answer them down in the comment section down below if you guys have any questions. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to get out and learn some more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.